Okay, so Universal Law Community Trust offers like a structure, like a blueprint for people. It's like a conveyance, if you like. It's like a car. You're going to get in it and you're going to use this as a vessel to move through this legal fiction system, corporate state reality that we've got at the moment, keeping yourself completely unalienable. Whatever you put inside that conveyance is up to you. How you change that conveyance is up to you. All we can say is that based on what it is that we've used this conveyance so far for, this is how it works in this instance, this instance, this instance. How you minister or convey yourself in that conveyance obviously is up to you. So bringing in liabilities that are part of your family, if you think about what the birth certificate and that mechanism does through contracts, is putting accounts together. You get married, there's another account. You've got another, a company name, if you like. And these little accounts all lead back to the one account, which is the birth certificate. So what that's supposed to represent, obviously, is your share of the planet's resources and all your rights. So by you conveying those inside your family trust, it's not just you that you're actually settling the debts for. It's the whole line of debtors that came before you through this like line of inheritance, if you like, this gene strand. And whatever it was that was accumulated along the way, debt-wise, is now put inside your trust. So if it's your mum and you're going to discharge the liability for her, all you're doing is you're standing surety, you're extending your kindness credit account to somebody, just like you would be doing, let's say, if you were in a shop and you said, look, your veg box is now worth 250 slave tokens instead of 60, because by you giving me the veg box, that has discharged 1,000 slave tokens worth of your liabilities each month over the next 4 weeks, for example. So it's the same. So obviously you don't have to negotiate an exchange with your mum, because you just, it's your mum. So who's to say she doesn't want to do some knitting for England? I don't know, and would enjoy feeling like she had some value still, which is what we tend to do with our elderly people, let's say. We seem to put them on the back burner and say, oh no, you're no good to anybody, you've got nothing to offer anybody. And they have. I mean, they've got all that expertise, all that experience, all that knowledge and learning. And of course they are very good at knitting as well. So the ones that I know, but I'm trying to say that everybody's got something that they can put in for their 5 hours. So and it kind of gets them kick-started again. They're like, yeah, it's a bit of self-determination. I know one of the ministers in Lancashire had done this and got his mum to let him use the garden, and then the neighbours got involved as well. So, there just needs to be an offer, really. Come on, mum, if I do this for you, are you going to, I don't know, make some Swiss roll, put it in the veg boxes? So it's just exactly the same process. Just send it over. Assignment of consent, the legal fiction goes in the space on the document, the account number, and just send it off. So that was in answer to a question about, can we discharge other people's liabilities for them? Of course.
Does their name go in the space where the legal fiction should go? Because I've obviously...
Yes, because it's the legal, that's the legal fiction. If you imagine what is the legal fiction? It's that little box on a screen somewhere with all of these other little boxes attached to it. And really what you're doing is you're taking that data from all of that's behind that little box, if you like, and you're putting it somewhere where it can't be used anymore. Okay. By them. And you're giving them back Minister Emoven instead. So Minister Emoven replaces the data in the box. What's inside the box? Nothing. So they've got a real legal fiction that is a nothing, a real nothing. It hasn't got to share the planet's resources. It hasn't got a title. It hasn't got a claim to make. It's like just doesn't exist because in that system nothing exists. So why try to take our truth to the fiction? Instead, you bring the fiction to the truth and you expose it there for what it is, which is doesn't exist. So that's really all you're doing, and you're conveying that liability into your ledger book, discharging it against the other account. So as far as the collateral goes, which is really what they're after all the time, it's the equity, and it's not even the equity of the thing itself, it's the right of use of the thing that they know is going to cause you inconvenience. It's something that you can be manipulated through. It's something that you can suffer and create the fear of loss for them, because that's really the energy that they're harvesting, that keeps this system together. It's not piece of paper or money, because obviously we can print all of that. We've talked about this before. It's the fear and the doubt and the hesitation and the presumption of, oh, I better not do that because blah 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 blah. My mind has created this amazing fictional reality of, ending up in prison if I don't. You're in prison because you do. We'll look around. Everybody's bound and gagged and in the debt slave world, and you're working through it, and it's like some crazy nightmare. But the more people that we can help to get themselves out of that situation, then by all means, it's the whole point we're doing these training and webinars and seminars and meeting up and all of this too, and energy invested into training one another, teaching each other what it is that we know, so that we can do this more effectively for more people. So don't be concerned, or the fact that they've asked you to help them, that's the assignment of concern. Then people, like we talked about, going to the restaurant, I haven't got any money. Okay, well, somebody else is going to pay the bill this time. If the restaurant turned around and said, no, you're not paying, we want her money, then the debt's zeroed because you refuse the offer of settlement. So here you are then, obviously later down the line as Minister Emoven, making the offer of settlement. In fact, beyond that, the settlement has already been offered, accepted, and the debt has been discharged. And now it's just like trickling down this information into these agencies and operators and people who are still in the dark about what really has gone on. And that's really where you're bringing the light to them face to face, and the whole point of the training, so that you can go confidently and exemplify yourself as Minister Emoven with the solutions there in your hand, in order for you to be able to minister the remedy of discharge the debt that the mind was creating through the indoctrination that it had. So we were talking about doing that for your mom. Has anybody else come up with anything, you've been talking to other people about it, that you might want to iron out? Any objections that people have had, apart from that you're crazy, basically? No? Well, we've had some weird and wonderful phone calls at our end. People sending messages. First of all, the manual Tipex out the numbers in the index is all I can say. I'd pressed send before I realised that I hadn't gone back and edited the index. So just Tipex the numbers out, and then it's not a problem. So that's the remedy to that. And we just had a phone call from somebody saying that one of the ministers' phones had had a message left on there from the Serious Crime Squad, saying that the national insurance account number had been used in serious crime. So we all fell about laughing here at this end, obviously, because the first of all, an account number can't really do much serious crime, can it? Because it hasn't got any legs or arms. So it was it can't really go down to the bank and hold the bank up, or cause any harm, loss, or damage to another living being, because it's that's a little box on the screen somewhere. So for the serious crime squad, obviously, because these accounts are been passed and assigned over to universal law, it's to stop any serious crime from being enacted with them. We're actually helping the people from stopping them from creating serious crime with illegal fiction that doesn't belong to them. And obviously, if you and your system rely on that serious crime to be enacted and to be credited, then obviously it is going to look like a serious crime that we all stop doing it. So this is going to be quite a fun conversation. So if you have any like that, obviously, any little rumblings in the background from any bailiffs or any of these corporations that still think that they might like to make you a summons to their fictional court on a yellow post-it note, for example, or come for some minister training at one of our universal law community trust protected properties, then expect to have a thorough Big Blue asset management assessment as to whether you're fit for the job. So if you're the social services and you intend to come and kidnap people's children, then expect to be assessed yourselves. The fact that you're there and you're working for profit and your target related pay that you get depending on how many children you steal for the paedophiles that you actually prostitute these children into their system for, and the police thugs that you've got standing next to you that are actually breaking the law, and you come to any of our properties without an invitation and without an assignment of consent, then expect to be arrested. And I'm very happy to say that one of our ministers perfectly exemplified this the other day. And I think he needs to, if he's up for it, if he's happy to explain the hilarious story that he had me in stitches with last night. Because this is, everybody's coming at the thing and saying that the website saying, no, it's not serious, or I've got to go and put my head in the fridge and stuff, and it's so serious that you've got nobody else to blame except yourself, and it's so serious because you've made it so serious. It's compounded interest in debt slavery belief that, and the only thing to break that with is the exact opposite of that. So there's the laughter, there's the joking, there's the light-heartedness in the literal sense of the word on the matter. And so you emanate in that energy and taking it for the pantomime that we've talked about is, and play your role in there where you command you're writing the script, you're directing it, you know exactly where it's going, and you've already got to the credits and they're yours. So it's with a standing ovation in the end, and project that through it. So Minister Emoven of Kent, are you there? Now, it was very funny last night when I heard about it. I called, and there's 3 police stations in Kent. And the first one that I was put through to said that they haven't got anybody there with the name of Minister Emoven. And I said,
I am here, but I'm slowly fading because I didn't get a sleep last night to about I think it was 3:30 in the end. So I'm like quite knackered at the moment. I'd definitely like to do it though next time if that's possible.
Right, no problem. I'll give the outline then of what happened at mine, and you can fill them in on a later one if you like.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I'm literally fading.
Cool. Okay, well, we've got to go and have some sleep because we've got a fence that somebody needs for you to put up.
All right, cool. I'm still going to listen, but I've just got no energy.
No, no problem. No problem.
All right, cheers.
All right.
Thanks.
So, the Minister Emoven wasn't, obviously, we haven't got anybody here by that name. We'll put you through. If we got another police station, then let me try the others. We'll put me through there. Quite a little bit more helpful, this one. Failed miserably, obviously, in being able to provide a service of notifying the relevant parties whether you have mistakenly identified one of our ministers as an employee of HM government or agencies thereof. Employee of HM government? Just a minute. And so now we've got a little bit more attention because of they seem to be hot button words like they use on the internet, keywords. And so she said, no, but we have somebody, this is the police station, put you through, put me through there, put the phone down. So a few, 2 hours after that, obviously Minister Emoven's been released. What is happening in Admiralty law systems is that this is why common law doesn't work in Admiralty law jurisdiction, because we've all assigned ourselves as collateral to a vessel under Admiralty law and commercial code. So this is where it comes in. Obviously, you all know about that with the law of the sea and blah, blah, blah. So you've got another vessel. Your Universal Law Community Trust is like broadside to HM government and all of those other vessels that was created. So its counterpart or its opposite would be the Vatican at that level. So you've leveled the playing field at ecclesiastical standing. You've got your own vessel, which you've talked about with the conveyance that you've created in alignment with universal law. Now, that system, that apparition of all of those other vessels, let's say, pointing at you, is just a representation of what it is that you have granted away in your mind to the fact that, you know, we acknowledge through using legal fiction that that is what's happening. So we don't do it. It's as simple as that. You just severed the contract. You've severed. So let's say a ship comes along, and there you are floating in the water. You're lost at sea. And somebody else comes along, fishes you out, and you assign your consent to be aboard the vessel. You're back before they drag you on board. They've do you want us to bring you on board? Yeah, I'm drowning out here in this sea of debt. Okay, here you go. There's your assignment of consent. You agreed to get on the boat. Don't get on the boat and then say this boat's not any good. Well, don't get on the boat. You know, the people contacting us and saying about 22 million people. If you've got 22 million people involved, then we should know about you. It's only your lack of due diligence that prevented you from knowing about us before. So, you know, don't get on the boat and then say, you need to be steering this boat in a different way. Well, if we'd been steering this boat in a different way, you'd still be in the water. You wouldn't have even seen the boat. So obviously, it's the boat's in the right place at the right time for the people who want to get on it, is the point I'm trying to make. Getting back to the practicalities of it, here is the salvage, your class of salvage, and you have assigned your consent to be salvaged by universal law. If I'm going to be anybody's chattel, or if you're going to presume that I'm goods or that I belong to something other than myself, then the only thing that I've got to, that I've contracted with, I've tied my vessel to, is universal law. Now, because I'm upholding universal law and I've recognised it, immediately I'm not in the same, let's say, water, I'm not even in the same sea, because this is UCC that you've been floating around in, and now you're in ULC, you're in big blue water. And so that asset that was in the water has been used like it had been used before by your system as salvage and collateral, and the equity that it represented, all assigned itself back into universal law, and so there's no portal open for the corporate system, the UCC system, to have any interest in your private parts. Literally, I mean, we laugh about it, but they have got no assignment of consent, no authority to act in any matter regarding your private parts. What are your private parts? We can't tell you. We're under quiet title. We can't tell you. Even if we knew what they were actually called, we couldn't tell you. So instead of being concerned that, the police might come and they might get me, they are playing a game. They might not even know it. Called out, it's Admiralty Code. So when let's say they've assumed that you're under their jurisdiction and that your asset, that your ass belongs to them, what actually happens is, and we've seen it firsthand, is that if somebody or something else comes along and rebuts that presumption, that first of all you are abandoned property or estate or salvage floating in the sea, and that even if you were those things, then you would belong to something else. That is what that assignment of consent document says and actually does. It rebuts the presumption that you haven't assigned yourself to anything, so you are presumed to need their vessel. And the last thing that anybody wants to be doing is picking up a rope as a benefit from any of these agencies that have been perpetuating, or what's the word, presenting themselves as your government. They're not. They're a mafia-run corporation, and you've been saying, okay, I'm over here, yeah, fish me out, don't know what's going on. Give me what you've got. Here's some poisonous food, here's some terrible water, and now row the boat while we lash you. So that's when we speak on the phone to these people. Most levels they don't get it at that level, but obviously occasionally we do get to be able to converse with let's call it, they would call themselves management, and they know what it is that we're talking about, and that's why it's quietly dropped, and our salvage is released, and that's, people have come on and asked about why haven't we just allowed that little company pretend to be a government to be dissolved. Had it been dissolved, we talked about this before, had it been dissolved and had it been the government and had it represented all of you as asset, did you really want to be Bonaventure again? And if you do, there's nothing stopping you. Go over there, sign your name, again. And that's what you're at the crossroads now. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. If you want to go and sustain that la-la system of fiction, you know how to do it. Go and use the name. Go and vote for the party that they've chosen for you to choose from, and call it democracy. And delude yourself for as however long it is that you like. That's not a problem. But all we're saying is that over here there are a group of like-minded people who don't share that belief as being, well, worth having, really. If we're going to manifest something from whatever it is we are, then as long as it's not that, like we've talked about, and if it is that, and they mistakenly identify that indefinable thing as an employee, citizen of, a chattel, a slave of their system, then if they're anybody's slaves, they're kind of credit slaves, and they have peacefully surrendered their collateral, all of their rights over here. So you, private corporation, haven't got any jurisdiction in this matter. You're not even in the same sea. So getting your awareness to that level of what secured party is, You are standing surety to yourself. You don't need anybody to put your trust into. This creates your own, let's say, a conveyance vessel, whatever, like we talked about at the beginning of this, and it's up to you how you minister it. Now, for some people, obviously, that's a pretty scary thing. I haven't got anybody else to blame for when I hit a rock anymore. And but you will have a lot of people who can help you bail out, is all I can say. Nobody's going to drive you or sail your boat for you. That's up to you to do yourselves. And all we can do is obviously give to the people who are like-minded as much flotation and surety, if you like, as we can by just supporting one another. And so, it's that, it's getting, that's the trust, is actually, then you get to the point where you realise, I've been floating this boat all alone, all along anyway, and nobody gave me any instructions written down in a book how to blink and breathe. So why would you be waiting for a license or piece of paper to do that now is beyond me. And, so you've been ministering your own energy and matter and movement. This isn't about replacing a hierarchy system. It's about you destroying the hierarchy system that you thought that you needed to be, first of all, part of, or that was separate from you. So the training and things that we're offering is just simply that. Come on the Zoom rooms, come and ask some questions, and more importantly, come and put it into practice, really. Does anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, I had a pretty easy chat with the cop today. He was trying to get some people to, and he literally called them murda, which means dead. So I was standing right there and getting my car fixed, and I'm like, which court are you going to take them to? All courts are shut in any case, and online courts really, the summons that you're going to give him isn't going to count for anything. So what are we really doing over here? And so I went on taking him through the whole journey of telling him, and his eyes literally opened up to the information that I gave him on that. And I was like, yeah, well, you can actually come and join the People's Protection Patrol and all your liabilities will be taken care of. So I gave him the website, and he was like, come have tea with me. And I was like, I have to leave, but you got some of my details. So just get in touch whenever you feel the need. And that was that. I walked off, and he didn't trouble those guys ever again. So
good, and that's it. There's been a few episodes, and there will be, where the universe is going to start to open up now and give you these opportunities. And at all times, it just comes down to, what do I do in a situation like this? Do I turn the other cheek? Do I allow that other little part of me be persecuted by the other part of me? Or do I step in between those two fractious parts of me and say, look, what are you doing? What are you really doing? Well, I'm going to give this man a ticket. But you just call him a man. You can't give him a ticket. He's a man. What is it that he's supposed to have done? And just get involved. You are the interested party. You restored the rights of the creditors to yourselves. And I know that I'm not okay with the reason why we're all supposed to have done this is so that we don't witness those things. And not that, okay, we're at the level where we're witnessing those things still, to see what is it that you are now. Are you a thing that is just going to turn the other cheek and walk away? Or are you the thing that's going to jump up and down and scream and shout and get yourself arrested? Or are you the thing that is going to minister the remedies to the matter just by being there? And just allowing that universal law to be present in you, you end up not having to say anything. Just your appearance is enough. And we've seen this in the court. Just this, that I haven't even got through the, well, I did got through the front door and then into these, like a second chamber of doors, and it's all glass. And the judge and the doors are open to the court, and the judge is sitting right at back at on the bench. And I haven't even got through the second doors nearly, and she got up and ran away. You know, because you're bringing with you universal law, and so that's what I was talking about before. When you're talking at this level with people at street level, let's say, they're not going to fully comprehend the Admiralty Code that's UCC that's going on in the background there, and the commercial side of it all, and the need for a contract. Their job is to beat one out of you if they can, or scare one out of you. And they, poor souls, they don't even know. They're living in their own fear, thinking, why is it that these people won't tell me what their name is? There must be something wrong with them. When actually we're trying to stop ourselves from committing serious crime. Squad. That's who we are. We're stopping the serious crime squad. And by just simply not doing that, and if it takes 1,000 years to sit there in 1,000 different circumstances to get this message home, then that is what you came to do, and everything else falls into, you know, it doesn't compare. What else? You know, I laugh and they're like, can I speak to you now quickly for 10 minutes because I've got a 10-minute break from slaving. Yeah, but you know, the last 10 minutes that you used, you should have done what it was that you said you would do, and then you wouldn't be ringing me up the next day saying I've got 10 minutes between my slaving. Do it, you know. Otherwise it's just can you just say that bit again? Can you just say that? But why can you not just do that bit and then we can talk about something else? Like, how many tomatoes have you had out of your lovely garden this season, for example, or whatever it is that is growing at this time of year? Beetroot. How many beetroots have you had? And really get to the important things, which don't consist of how many slave tokens of it is it that I've had to go and catch. It's how much of my liability did I discharge this week, this month? That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a different column now. How much of my life did I prevent them from capitalizing on and making credit from? And where have I invested it more so? And look at what it is that we've created from that releasing of that free energy. And, you know, living a beautiful experience of what's all around you. That's the whole point of doing this. Not so that you can go and serve your slave masters a little bit more for some more slave tokens. But I mean, obviously we do have, it's like the worker bees, if you like. It's horrible, and they call themselves that. We're here in the slave token system, and we're taking our energy and we're turning it into food for people who haven't got any money. Great, that's what it was there. That was the mechanism for turning slave tokens into kindness credits. For the rest of it is supposed to be direct exchange of one another's energy, and obviously that's coming together now where people are making the connections, which is great.
Yeah, I'm just glad I was. Oh, sorry.
Go on. You were just glad.
I'm just glad that I was able to actually get through to two parties, like two sets of people today. One who was fixing my car, and the other one was trying to charge him and get his ID out of him. And it was just quite a heartening experience where the guys who were to give the ID were like, "Oh my God, you just literally scared the cop." And I was like, "No, I didn't do any such thing. I just opened his eyes up to a certain fact that he knows that I know too now, probably a little more than he does in what he's doing." And I got an agreement from both sides to actually go to the website and actually have a read through, change it into Hindi for them. And, so it was just really nice to be part of something, a sort of a restoration. Yes, that's what it is, right? So, and also getting a guy to say, okay, you've got the experience in the police. Now, why don't you apply it to something that you would really want to see happening around you, which was just, spread the positivity of actually feeling good when you remove that uniform at night, saying, okay, I actually added to the society rather than, just doing what my masters were telling me to do. And I was like, you can ask whoever you want above the line and I'll still be Minister Emoven standing there. and I'll still be saying the same things to you, literally, because it doesn't matter which level you reach in the system, you're still going to be under universal law in any case. So it's just a win-win for you if you go and actually exemplify it. And I told him I was getting my number plates changed, and yeah, he's like literally didn't do anything. He just left that whole area where he was like roaming around and trying to charge people. He left and he stood on the road, probably looked at his phone and saw the website.
I mean, this is great. I mean, it's all it is. You're just going out there and holding a mirror up, and you know, like the thing with the Serious Crime Squad. If you know, we've been trying to contact you to tell you there's serious crime going on, and you never were interested before. We told you where it was going on. We told you who was doing it, and you said that it's a civil matter and that your hands are tied, you can't do anything. Well, now your hands are untied. And if we turn around to that, people like that and said, look, and how much are you getting paid? How much are you getting paid to do this job? What do you spend it on? Do the financial logic on them. We had the guys here explaining how they bought their own bullets and their own boots and their own, you know, hardware. And
I actually used that on him. I actually used that one on him because you had said in a previous Zoom meeting as well the same thing, and I actually said that to him. I was like, well, that thing that you're carrying around, you have to sort of spend to actually use it as well. So, what's the point?
Shocking, isn't it? They it's the definition of a mercenary, paying himself to be a mercenary. And you know, not even realizing that it's a very lost soul. If we're going to talk about lost souls, you know, floating in the sea, then they are the most difficult ones because, but at the same time, pulling one of those amazing beings out of there that has gone in there for all that right reason, and they've got that about them, which is why they've been tricked to such a degree. Because they have got that about them. They've got that, the sense of, you know, standing together for something good, for upholding the rights. They've been sold the same shitty stick as we all have. And so once these people realise that actually, if I did actually do my job, which was to uphold and restore the rights of the people that I represented, who were the people that I think I'm taking the tax money off as a job, then and the people have got my back, then yeah, I'm coming with you. I'm coming. Take me to these people. Now I've got surety. And so they call it asphalia here. It's insurance, and they have that's like the SWAT team, right? Team. They're called the asphalia. The insurance for who? I see you beating the people. You're not their insurance. You're an insurance policy that the corporations have taken out so that they can persecute the people of your country for profit, and you're upholding it. So yes, it's all very well, you know, tripping around and skipping through the daisies, and isn't it sweet? And we have to be kind. Okay, of course you have to be kind, but you know, when you're speaking to a reflection of that lost soul part of yourself, and it's not listening, and you know, at that point, it does require a bit of kindness wrapped up in a rock, but still in a, I don't mean in a violent way. I just mean in the way that you deliver this, and you'll find that if they come at you, if that is what's coming at you, then you've got what it is that you need as surety yourself. And it's universal law. Don't forget that they're upholding it. They don't even realise that at this level. That's the point of that very long conversation at the beginning of this. That was the point I was trying to get to. Is that the bottom line is that they're upholding universal law by their very pretense. They've glossed over it, like we talked about, but it's there. And so by you exemplifying that you just will not, doesn't matter what you do, I am not going to commit fraud upon my soul, then there's no game to be played here, is it? It's like you've not just taken your bat and ball home, you've snapped him up and set fire to him.
It's like, not only upon my soul, now I'm going to help you do the same for yours as well. So,
yeah, I know, but we do sound a bit sanctimonious.
No, I know.
I know,
But
but
just like just having that feeling come from someone of complete understanding the fact that he is the king of that area, so he believes at that time. And then you have someone saying, I got your back in this, and you don't need to be doing this in this way. You could be doing the same thing, but for the reasons you actually came to do it, which is what you said. And it's just, he wouldn't invite anyone for a cup of tea. Trust me, these guys, they don't invite anyone for anything. They come and take. That's all they do, literally. So yeah, win-win.
very good. And a cup of tea out of it as well. That's a very good result. An offer of a cup of tea from the cops. It's great. So, has anybody else got any other questions?
I've got lots of questions.
Okay.
Tammy.
Oh,
I don't even know where to begin.
Sorry, wait a second. Lalita has had her hand up and I've only just...
Yeah, she has. I'll back off.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Lisa. I have a question because I'm so in every detail, like I want to know everything what I'm doing. So my question, I sent my assignment of consent to all utility companies and corporations, and now I'm preparing myself mentally to pick up the phone and speak with them. And the only, for me, like, then they ask, what's your date of birth? And I say, it's under non-disclosure. What if they say, no, you have to tell us? Do I give like false date of birth, or I just refer like, no, this is under non-disclosure according UCC? Like, what do I do in this situation?
Well, Minister Emoven is a legal fiction, isn't it? So it must have a fictional date of birth.
Okay. That's easy. All right. Yes.
Did you know that the date of birth is different, and the birth certificate date, the date of registration, are two completely different accounts?
What do you mean?
On the birth certificate, you've got the birth certificate, the date that the baby was born turns into the date of birth, and then the date of registration. There's two dates.
I see. I see.
That's your waylaid, the day that you were weighed and recorded in a ledger book.
I see. Because I lost my birth certificate long time ago. I don't know where is it, because I moved the countries, and then in Australia I moved cities. I don't know what it is. It's gone. Even if I want to hang it back to police, I don't have it.
Well, you can get another copy, can't you?
So I need to apply in my country of birth and get a copy.
If you want to, I mean, if you haven't got a birth certificate, we talked about this on the other Zoom about the handing in of the diploma, your driving license, your passport, anything that has been created from that birth certificate. It's the birth certificate is the mother of all contracts, if you like, mother of all fraud. For any other documentation after that, it's still leaving the birth certificate floating around somewhere, you know. That's why, and that's why it's so liberating when you give it back, because all of the other contracts that were created from that are severed.
But if I understood correctly, then I create my family trust. I thought I'm assigning all this passport, driver's license to my family trust, and it stays there under non-disclosure.
There's a little line between these accounts. Look, one's equity, one's title. You cannot assign the title of something because it isn't yours. You are
Okay.
assigning the liability of it, which would
Okay.
have created credit for their system. So if I haven't got a driving license, does it mean I am not capable of driving?
No, it doesn't.
No, I don't like the guy who's got the electrician qualification. If he stops using that qualification, does it mean that he's not a qualified electrician? No.
No.
So you still have that skill and service or quality or capability. It doesn't. You didn't need a piece of paper from anywhere really. The point of this is to get to the point where you realise you don't. The best thing that you can have is not to have a piece of paper, or to have a piece of paper like one of the guys where he'd ripped it out of his son's exercise book and written whatever the hell he liked on it, and said, "I'm going there to there, and nobody's stopping me."
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I understand.
It's like breaking the chain, right? If you think about this matrix, virtual reality, that's exactly what it is. These boxes, these little pixels, and suddenly they haven't got any value because the information that's inside them is out of date. It isn't current. Look at the words current. It's not current. I can't lay a charge to data that's not current. I have to keep updating my data all the time in order for me to be able to have something of any value, which is why they want you to, register yourself here for council tax, or, you've moved into another area, so you need to apply for residency or whatever. You're disclosing all the time, and instead you're just giving a minister on the van, minister on the van.
Yeah.
So that's the, don't let's make Minister and Ven real in that legal fiction. That's the last thing that you want to do. And Minister and Ven is my legal fiction, and there you go. Knock yourself out. It's an empty credit file at that point.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there, my name's Nicola. I was just hoping to ask a question. I've got some pension schemes from companies I previously worked at spread across different pension schemes. I just wondered, I'm in the process of joining, what to do about the pension schemes. Is there any way to take the money out? I previously looked at how I can do that. I think it was a SIP and putting it into property and managing it myself. And I just wondered under the LCT if there's any options with what to do about pensions, managing it or taking it out.
Yeah, you can go through these steps with people to help you get to the point where, when we talk about broker and open your own credit file and investing in your own co-operations, your own organisations, investing in local projects, then it makes more sense than it will probably right now. You assign your pot, if you like, your equity into your family trust, and all of the liabilities are to be stood surety to. So because your assignment of that equates to another bill of exchange, for example, or another entry in a different ledger, keeping account in a different currency means that you're out of commercial obligations completely with whatever it is that you just converted into kind of credits.
Right. Thank you. So it sounds like I can take it out of my pension scheme once I'm a member of the trust and invest.
Yeah, you need to convey it into something. So you need to, and it needs to be something that you've created yourself, so that all the fear and doubt is removed that you've given it to someone else. So that's why these steps are put into place. Starting with the little things first, building your trust inside yourself for you to be able to turn around and, a few weeks down the line say, how could I have ever not trusted myself to do this simple thing, which is what my pension was going to pay out an administrator to do, or a trust fund manager, and you'd probably be left with not a lot because oopsie daisy, we invested it into petrochemicals or Pfizer and a universal law came along and secured everything, so your pot isn't worth anything at the moment, unfortunately. At the moment, because obviously it's enslaved tokens, and those are going to be converted into cryptocurrency, and the only way that you're going to get that credit in the end is through a chip. And so that's where it's, unless people start to determine this for themselves and can determine that if I don't do that, if that's what's waiting for me, have I really got a pension if I leave it over there? I have to create a trust. I have to put this energy that I've invested in into these pixels on a screen, because they're still that at that point, into a position where the rights of those, what that represents, is part of your energy, trapped in there, in that system that created this reality. And so, yes, it is very important to discharge the liability that that amount of credit in their system would create as debt for the rest of us and yourself as well.
Okay, I think that makes sense. And is that, once I'm part of the ULCT, is that something you're able to help with the whole process of?
Yeah, it's just a very simple, if it's the same thing. It doesn't matter whether it's a pension, whether it's a DVLA plate, a VIN number, a birth certificate, it all goes in your ledger book. And you have a different method of accounting, your method of accounting for what it is. Where do you want to see it invest? We've had people converting Bitcoin, gold, into organic veg boxes at the moment. Investing in collateral gold machines so that they can help people in their community with it, but not because they're doing it for profit anymore, just they're doing it because they're in a position where they can do it, because they haven't got that drag on their resources, and that slave token that they've got is worth much more invested in this because of the benefits that it brings in the community. So yeah, it's very liberating, let's say, when you get to decide where does your pension come from, what was your energy invested into to stand surety to you in later life. Do you live out your days on the back of pharmaceuticals, murder, terrorism, and petrochemicals, which is where most pensions have been invested, mortgages, gold, the shortage of resources? Is it all, we're taking that out, saying, no, you're not doing that with my energy anymore.
Okay, so I think it was actually, sorry if I used the word SIP, it was actually a SAS where I'd looked at putting it, I'd understood that you could invest it into commercial property and then manage it yourself and take it out of all the pension companies, and there was like a process that took several months where the pension fund agrees like a rate of what the value of it today and then doing it. Is that the same sort of process in terms of getting it out of the pension companies and over to the ULCT Trust?
It completely depends what it is that you want to invest your pension into. What is it that you want to see happen with that energy? It's still, for us, yourself, it's just a simple bill of exchange. It's just another piece of paper that conveys a different value into another place for it to be put to good use, which is going to heal instead of harm people. So it's how you want to structure it. What is this? What we've said to people who come with their investments. You tell us, what do you want to see come from the back of that energy that you've been involved in over there in Slaveville with, and you decide. I mean, as far as property goes, people making profit from other people's rights is secured. That's what's happened. That's the universal law has secured the capitalizing of people's rights. That is what cannot happen anymore. That's the quiet title that all the matter has been rebutted. So buying property and renting it out to people is actually causing, you're actually capitalizing on people's rights to shelter. Yes. And we only do that because we think that that's what we need to do in order for us to have, a nice pension pot at the end of the slaving we've done.
To be honest, you very really valid points. I very much moved on from that. It was just I was looking at how I could, before discovering all about common law and all of this, it was looking at how I could have more control in my life and kind of get out of systems a little bit, which is why this was appealing. But I, for some reason, didn't make the decision. I figure out now why, because I've been on the journey of learning so much more. I think what I'm just trying to understand is, are these pension companies used to this process, and there's a mechanism in place by ULCT to actually just extract the money out of it and then do something else with it? That's what I suppose I'm trying to understand.
Yes, you're assigning whatever is inside that account into another account. And so I'll try and explain it again. It's the same simple process of you entering that asset into your ledger book and assigning it to another account, your ledger book. Well, what you decide to do from there, it doesn't give you back more control than that. And you can take that in slave tokens, yen, dollars, whatever it is, or you can convert it into community projects where nobody's got any liabilities, or a generator for creating electricity from water.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you sound just like somebody here. Did you used to live in Spain?
No, I didn't, but it sounds like a nice place to be.
You just sound just like one of our ministers that was in Spain, yeah.
My other question is, I'm just obviously following what's going on, particularly in America at the moment. And people are saying that Trump's going to introduce Nasara and Jasara sort of in America and then globally, and then there's going to be a big reset, and people get their ecclesiastical trust, the value they'll receive themselves. So I was just wondering what your thoughts and opinions on this, because I have heard that there's nothing left. So I just wanted to understand a bit more about it and make the right decision.
Nasara and Jasara are coming to you using gold time. And the coronavirus pot that they've got left to launder your belief through is the only thing that they have now got to keep the pretense that a government exists in place. So Bill Gates has stumped up this rather large pot for the governments of the world to be able to use to launder their existence through. As long as everybody obviously believes in coronavirus, then he can hedge his bets and he'll get his return on his investment. When everybody assigns their shares back to his, company, Microsoft, through the biohacks chip, which has already granted 20% of its company to Icon Capital Group, which is your gold time. And so you are now diminished, or you will be, as a unit of energy, and your 1,200 slave tokens of credit through Nasara or Jasara will come through the chip, and it will be you saying, "Can you just confirm your name for me, please, while I stick this in you?" That actually grants them, yet again, the assignment of your share, not of just the planet this time and its resources, but of you as a utility transmitter of universal source energy, forever trapped inside this matrix system. So that's why we use rocks. Obviously, people who are aware of this have been trying to rebut the presumption in their communities by going and giving the antidote to people. And our antidote has been tested on 10,000 people over a period of 3 months, just like the CDC standards, and WHO. And none of our participants had any symptoms of coronavirus. So we introduced it into the community. Some of it fell down a mountainside in Delphi and infected the atmosphere. And everybody's got an immunity record in their welcome pack. Have you done an assignment already?
Not yet, no, but that's
right. In your welcome pack, you'll have your immunity record, you'll have your Ministry of NID card, your universal share back, and a credit note. And then, this is why I'm saying it, once you've done one of these steps, what we talk about here make much more sense, because you're actually sitting there looking at, this is the structure of the bits that you're going to build from, if you like, your own trust. Whatever that might be that you're putting in there.
Okay.
Whether it's a pension, whether it's gold, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's your 5 hours a week, whether it's your debt. doesn't, the process is the same.
Thank you. That's really helpful to know.
Welcome. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, like in the sense that I think I completely messed up on the claim form as well. Like I got so involved in sort of exemplifying myself that I forgot to take care of the back end of my part, because I'm still getting some calls, and I was wondering why, and I was like, yeah, that's, bless you. So yeah, I think I'm gonna think about this, and I'm gonna send you a claim form tomorrow, and probably touch base on the phone once, if that's okay. Just make sure that everything's in line.
That's fine, yeah. Has anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, just to get a bit.
Suk.
Yeah, just to get a bit of clarification on the pension. So let's say, for example, I get my 100 grand out of the pension, and I want to assign it to kindness projects. Do I put that into my kindness credit account, or am I using the actual physical money to start manifesting those projects, or what? I just need a little bit more clarity on that.
It depends what you've got in your hand, doesn't it? Have you got cash in your hand? Is it credits on the screen? Is it gold in a pot? Is it honey?
Well, I'm thinking if I'm cashing in my pension,
yeah,
it'll be pounds.
So you have it in the holding account, and
the holding account being my personal bank account.
You have a trust holding account that feeds your kindness credit account.
Okay, so I'm going to create a new trust account, am I?
Well, there is one. You can pay it into there, and then you use.
Is this sorry? Is this the same as the account number that you've assigned to each one of us?
Yeah.
Is that the account?
What you're doing? Yeah, you've got an account number, a kindness credit account number.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a fiat currency holding account that converts the fiat into kindness credits.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you issue your kindness credits from there. And then if somebody wants to turn it back into slave tokens, there's the fiat currency account for them to lay their claim against.
Okay, so I just moved the pounds that I have in my personal account into my kindness credit account. And is there a process for that? Is that a bill of exchange again, or is
That's on the steps for doing that are on the kindness credit claim form. That's why we tried to get you going with 2 kindness credits to see how it works with the ebook.
Okay, all right. Now I've got okay, so I did have a look at the claim form, and I did have a few questions about it, but I'd have to go back and look at that again. And
okay, it helps if you write some questions down, and then come with them prepared. Is there anybody else who's got any questions?
Yeah, I still do have some other questions.
Oh, good. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I've been talking to a bunch of people, various businesses and things like that, and I guess is there, there's like a friend has got a pub, and he's worried about the police coming around there, and I've suggested to him, turn it into a restaurant, do smoothies instead, and things like that. He's having he's going away to think about that kind of thing, right? So is that something we can help him to? Obviously, we got to source the products, or the suppliers for that. How would I? Yeah, go on.
You just come with a project and say, right, okay, we're going to open this shop, business, whatever, and it's going to provide this into the community. This is the list of the suppliers that we need. Have you got any suppliers in the community, first of all, who can meet our requirements with what it is that they're supplying? Yes, here, and here. Here is some things that we haven't got, so the people then who've been trained as ministers can go and introduce this to those particular suppliers. And it's very simple to do. We did it the other day, where they walked into the shop I hope they're smashing their nuts downstairs. Lovely, thank you. And right at the back. So they, we had somebody walk in to the shop and pay for the food. I think we talked about this on the last Zoom, but I haven't put the last Zoom up, so it's keeping me out of kilter a bit. And we already made the order between us online. We knew how much it was going to be. In the end, it was a little bit different because they didn't have the same products that they had on their online shop. And so you had to create another kindness credit note at point of sale. And then we made the exchange over the phone through the fiat currency account with
Oh, right. So this was where you take the money and the bill of the promissory note and offer them the choice between one or the other.
Well, give them both at this point. You're giving at that point you're giving them both. You're giving them the kindness credit note, and you're also giving them the proof that's coming out of their little merchant device to say accepted, approved transaction of slave tokens. Now they've got 2 pieces of paper, and actually they've been paid twice, haven't they, at that point? But he doesn't know that. The shopkeeper doesn't know that. He's not, at this point, for the mind of the shopkeeper, it's just a receipt for a money exchange. He doesn't know that a piece of paper's just really opened the door to lift him from debt slavery too. So it depends what level you're going in at, but that's what would happen then. We'd go and introduce it into the suppliers and say to the suppliers, okay, this little project here, we're going to need X amount of this amount in slave tokens and supplies from you. How many customers like us do you need each week, month to cover your overheads? And off we go again with them.
Okay. All right. I'm also working on a project with I was working on a project with a friend about 10 years ago on free energy devices. I kind of lost touch with him and reconnected with him just yesterday, actually. And he's actually getting funding from DARPA for a project, which is kind of worrying because obviously, knowing what I know about DARPA and the debt slavery model, I'd like him not to be doing that. But he is keen to help mankind with this free energy devices. He's developed it quite a bit further than when I last spoke to him 10 years ago. Do you have any advice on what the best way to approach that is? Because he's already got 100 million, that he's got access to in investment.
What advice can we give to? For what? Is there somebody? What is it that you need that for? Is it not? Is it? Do you need to buy the resources of the materials of the things that you've got the right of use of?
Well, he's already got patents for it. He's just and he's got a prototype in place. So I guess it's developing it further and putting it into the market.
I think, if I would just say, right, okay, here's a really great product, train my sales team up and go and get them to promote it in the community themselves. And that they were it's theirs. That's what kindness credits is. That's why there's no hard sell. We don't need to go and sell these to anybody because you can see it's something you can't buy, actually. And if you've got an amazing product or invention and it's money that's holding you back from putting it into the hands of the people, then you need a different website is all I can say about that. As far as going and taking funds from, I can't ever think of a good time to go and use slave tokens in anything that I do.
Well, this is the thing that I'd like him to sort of see that there may be another way and how that might work.
We'd have to speak to him, obviously. Is that there's, is a universal being. It's wouldn't want to presume what it is that he's looking for, or why it is that he thinks he needs all of that instead of what is it that he's got around him.
Okay, I've got an appointment with him on Monday at 10:30.
Okay.
Would it be okay for me to get you involved in the meeting then?
You can do 10:30 Monday. Oh,
Yeah,
hang on.
UK time.
No, I can't, can I?
UK.
Because we're still doing some of the training, I think, from the Monday. If they're staying Sunday night, I think. Tina, are you there? Without disclosing too much on here. I don't know is the answer. I'll speak with Tina about what we've got going on, and I'll let you know.
All right, brilliant.
Okay,
Brilliant.
it's Suki, isn't it?
Suki, yeah.
Okay. Somebody called.
Great, thank you for that.
Somebody
Sorry?
called me actually the other day and mentioned your name, but he didn't say who it was or where he's from. I just wanted to ask a few questions.
There's a few people that I've introduced. I've been talking to a bunch of people about this, and so I'm hoping that a few more will be calling up and getting on board with this.
Lovely. You're doing a great job anyways. Lots of people calling, so bravo to you for getting the message out.
Well, I'm trying to get this message out as far and wide as I can, and I've got an appointment on Tuesday where I'm going to a common law meeting, and I'll be dumping all of this on them as well.
I bet that's going to make you popular. Do you want me to come in on that one Tuesday?
Sorry,
what time's that?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you want me to come in on that one? What time's that?
Yeah, it's in Milton Keynes. They hold a meeting they start at 7 o'clock, I think, in the evening.
So they start at 7. Sorry, my dog has just decided to disappear off the back of the chair backwards, and I had to grab her by her head. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm counting on a lift from a friend, so to get there. So in the meantime, I need to try and get my car back on the road and do the the export and change the license and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be talking to the mechanic there about the kindness credits as well.
Okay, well, just give me a bit of notice. Give me, and if you haven't heard from me on Proton, it's because I'm out doing something. I know it sounds like I always sit in my little prison here in my cell with a laptop, but I do go out now and again. And so if you haven't heard from me, send me a message if if you're going to go and you're going to say, right, today I'm going to go to the organic food shop and let's put a bit of prep in, a bit of preparation. What you're going to spend, let's do an order. If you're going to go to the garage, what you're going to have done at your car, how much do you think it's going to be about? Get yourself ready for that. Right, okay, I've put my slave tokens in the holding account and bingo, that goes across there and voila, you just showed them very simple magic trick that you turned that piece of paper into that piece of paper. It's that ridiculously simple that it's banking, business, commerce, I need to understand all of this. It is one piece of paper switched for another piece of paper. One piece of paper represents your slavery, the other represents your freedom. Which do you want? That's it. So
I think people have been ripped off so many times, they don't want to be ripped off again. So I think that's what the problem.
They haven't got anything else. They haven't got anything else to rip themselves off with. They've been ripping themselves off with.
No, I entirely agree with
you. The serious crime squad. Great. About bloody time you got here. We've been piling all of these birth certificates up waiting for you to come, and you won't take them off the people at the police station. Apparently somebody went in there to surrender the birth certificate and they said no, we're not having it.
Oh wow.
They didn't want it either. Nobody wants that bloody birth certificate. I told him to throw it in the bin. Well, that's a bit naughty.
Yeah, I had my birth certificate stolen some time ago, and I've never replaced it. So.
By my trust. I had my birth certificate stolen by my trust, and they said, I cannot use it. I'm making a claim. Who are you making a claim against? My trust. What did they
Myself.
do? They stole my ID. And now the serious crime squad are ringing up saying, what's going on? We haven't got any terrorists left in our system anymore. They've all jumped ship and gone away and thrown their birth certificates at us as they were left the room. We need some criminals, please. Have you got any over there? No, sorry, we're all out of criminals. They're all over there wearing masks, though. Can't help yourself. Hey, yes, Minister.
Did you, did you
Okay, so you're up for Tuesday then?
Yeah,
Is that-
Tuesday is much better. And
Okay, I'll fire over the details to you and let you know what the arrangement is then.
yeah,
The
or
passing everything.
Monday afternoon. We want to do Monday afternoon. We should be done by then.
Oh, I was talking about Tuesday for this common law meeting
Yeah.
in Milton Keynes.
And we've got your 10:31 on the Monday. If you can move that to the afternoon, I can comment on that one as well if you want.
All right, all
Just
right.
see. Don't lose it. You know, if he wants to see you at 10:30 and it's convenient for him, then go and cover what you can.
I think the meeting will go on for quite a while because you know he's working on a couple of different projects, and I said I'm really keen to get involved in those as well. So it might go on for a while, so it might run into the afternoon.
Give us a try then. Give us a shout and give us a try. But if you're going to go do something specific, let's put some groundwork in. Let's know at least a little bit about the company. We've got a website for them. We could approximate their customer worth. We could start to do their financial logic. And, you know, people appreciate that. People appreciate the fact that you've taken the time and you've not just gone, oh, I believe this will interest you also, but I don't know, I've not invested any interest in who it is that I'm saying would be interested, you know. We're so interested in helping you that we've gone and looked at your website, we've looked at your products, we've looked at your potential benefit by being inside Kindness Credits, and this is what we'd like to come and make. And okay, this is about business. This is where you get serious with people, because they've been seriously committing fraud in business, and this is this out of everything that I'm serious about, it's this bit, because the people that you're dealing with at this level are serious about business. So
okay, so maybe the best thing is I just do a scouting on Monday, and then maybe look to reschedule another time then, and get you involved at that time then. Would that be better then?
yeah, that's better. And let's get a bit of groundwork in, and let's do a bit of research for these people and see which is the best way for them to use Kindness Credits first for them as a business.
Okay. All right. Let me do that then, and I'll reschedule and see if we can get any more details then.
Cool, that's great.
Brilliant. Thanks for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for investing your time and energy in your community.
No, I can't see anything better at the moment. I mean, looking around at what's going on, it's just mind-boggling to me that this can carry on the way it is.
Yeah, and it can't. That's why you're all here doing this amazing stuff. So thank you, all of you.
Is there any opportunity to go over some of the material that you sent over in the email, or
no, not on here. That was sent to you. That was sent to you because of what you've been doing.
Okay.
So yeah, let's stick anything you get on Proton. Let's keep it on Proton. Once we're where we're at with it, then you'll get your answer over the weekend of that.
Okay.
For all that material, yeah, all of your answers will be covered on that over the weekend. So
yeah, I haven't had an invite to this. You're talking about the Bristol thing, are you?
You haven't had an invite?
No.
I don't know whether we've got any space left, actually. The reason, most of the people who've got that packet are going to the training.
Yeah, I'd love to be on that training if I can get on there.
Yeah, I don't think you can, so shh, quiet title.
Okay.
Because I've already said too much anyway. But you have got it for another reason, is what I can say to you now. And I'll speak to you about that on Zoom. Proton.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, sorry if we're delving into areas that we shouldn't be delving into.
Tag him. Put your mask on.
Yes, Minister.
Okay. Well, pay that fine. Right.
Oh,
So
did you ever used to watch Yes Minister?
no, it's under non-disclosure, that information. I can't disclose that.
Okay. I think they did disclose quite a lot in that program.
I can't disclose whether I watched it or not.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm
All right. Well, thanks for that. I'll hand over to anybody else then.
This is great. We'll do a Zoom room where we practice. We play the non-disclosure game, and we'll see who breaks the non-disclosure first. It'll be just silence all the way through. 4 hours. I looked into that webinar. I don't quite understand it. So I'm thinking. No, they're all under non-disclosure.
That'll confuse the intelligence agencies, won't it?
That'll be great. So, have we got any more questions, guys, before we all step under our non-disclosure for the night?
Hi, Lisa. I have a little question.
Hello.
I've been going through a process because I'm about to do some foster caring for children, and I'm wondering if the process will hamper my universal law community trust process.
It probably hamper your foster caring process, actually.
Right. I'm not worried about that though, so that's fine. That's all I need to know. That's okay.
I don't. Yeah, you flip it. It depends which is the benefit, which is the liability, really, all the time.
Indeed, and I can help children from the Universal Law Community Trust. So
exactly.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, love. Any more?
I was going to ask you if you received some paperwork from the anti-ill mob from Minister Mark.
I most certainly have not.
You haven't?
No,
or
not
unless
it's you've been running around with somebody else's national insurance account number committing serious crime.
I think I don't know if I gave it to Karen. Karen said she was going to forward it on to you. Statutory rape.
Okay. We've had that. You had some paperwork to give me.
Yeah.
Ah. No.
No.
Oh, I've been working on the book that's got the wrong pages on it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether you see it or not.
I haven't looked at many emails today. We've just done a couple of new accounts.
It's quite interesting.
I bet it's not.
I found it interesting.
Tell us then. Are you a bit fresher now? Are you a bit?
I'm still dying at the moment, but no, it's literally what they came round to arrest me for. That allegation ended up getting completely dropped because Minister Emoven stepped in, and instead, because of what they had done to me and the way they had basically battered me, they had to try and get something else from me. So they decided to use van insurance. So, and I said to them, well, how can you be, trying to take me to court for not having van insurance when I wasn't even in a bloody van? We was in my garden rolling about. And they said, well, you haven't got the correct van insurance. And I'm like, well, how is that possible? So I rang up my insurance, and they said, I am covered. I'm covered to drive to work and home again. So I don't know what they're going on about. And this is what they've put on one of them forms. It's like, oh my God.
Maybe it's. Have you got People's Protection Patrol resist and restrain training on your insurance for your van? Step 1, jump out of van. Step 3, rugby tackle men in uniform. Step 4, what do they do?
It's just so strange because they had nothing else, and obviously because I was Minister Emoven, they found it. Well, they didn't know what to do. They hadn't encountered Minister Emoven down here before, And it was very interesting because they just didn't know what to do with me, bless them.
Tell the listeners about your lovely mugshot.
Oh yeah. So they wanted my thumbprints and my a shot of my face. So I said to them, look, I will walk up there with you, but guys, you're gonna have to force me to do this. I said I can't willingly do it. I'll get prosecuted by my trust. And I was like, okay. So I had five of them on me trying to get my thumbprints, and they couldn't get my thumbprints. They got a new machine now where you put your hand on there and it scans it. It's not ink anymore. And I kept wiggling my fingers. So I had 5 of them pinning me down, and they was all leaning on my hand, trying to get my hand to stay still. And I was getting all flustered and stressed, and they was beating me about a bit, and they couldn't do it. In the end, they managed to do it. And I said, that looked really good. You know, you have to do the other one now. So they've done the other one. Same thing. I had all these people trying to hold me down, and, you know, and I'm laughing at them, and they're getting all frustrated and that. And then it comes to the photo. And I was like, well, you're going to be good for the photo. I said, look, I've told you, I'll sit down willingly, but you're going to have to force me. So I had two of the enforcers forcing my head round, and then another one trying to hold one of my eyes open. And I must have looked like Captain Birdseye. It was so funny. Bless him.
So if you see somebody who looks like this with one eye and a butterball, then we know it's you.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I just couldn't believe that they would. I said to them after, I can't believe that you guys have had to just force me to do that. Can you see how ridiculous this is? You know, it's just madness. I can't see how have they got even the authority to do that, because what they're doing there, they're assaulting you, you know, and they haven't had my permission to do anything with me.
The first charge was coercement. So they went round there to say that Minister Emoven had been coercing people. And in fact, while they were doing that, they were actually coercing him to be a Vatican debt slave, which is the irony, a mother of all irony. Yeah,
that's it. They're saying I was coercing my own family. It was ridiculous.
Into not breaking the law. They're over there trying to coerce your family into breaking the law, and you're over here trying to reserve their rights from being assigned to that malachias. And they want to prosecute you for not playing their game of coercion, which is just completely...
It was so funny. They just kept trying. They kept coming up to me and asking me my name, and you know, trying different officers, you know, being really nice and that, and then just trying to coerce me into saying it, and they didn't get it. It was quite funny. Yeah. Anyway.
It's bloody brilliant, and I'm going to be laughing long time. Laughing.
Oh, I was better at telling the story last night, weren't I? I was all excited.
Yeah.
Now I just feel shattered.
It was very empowering, and I appreciated that you're getting this to the degree where you're going and you're seeing it for yourselves, that what happens if I say and do this? Well, not a lot, really. All of those things that I thought were going to happen, actually, there's no point of initiation. And it is that simple, guys, you know. So, okay, it's a big step. That one step is a big step, but it's...
So it's when I left, when they discharged me, they forced the paperwork on me, which I didn't consent to. It had didn't have Minister Emoven's name, and it had someone else's. And I said, well, I'll take that. I don't consent to it, but I'll take it and I'll give it to the relevant parties. And then I thanked them for the stay, and they said that it was the first time they'd ever been thanked. Bless them.
You had a little break, didn't you? It's nice.
Yeah, I did. I'd have to go on and work like a slave otherwise. I said I'd have to come back sometime.
Yeah, sure you will.
Yeah.
Round 2. Yeah. And you know, when you get in that situation, and you just take their fear away by you not having any.
I think they were, honestly, they were scared shitless of me. They were. You could see it.
What to do with you? That's the point. It's the fear of the unknown suddenly is there. It's not yours. You know enough to know that if I do not create a contract with that legal fiction, not a lot can happen here, except that your corporation's going to lose some of its credit inside a ledger book somewhere.
It's quite funny as well, the intimidation they try and put on you, because I'm quite short, you know, I'm like 5 foot nothing, and they've got all these police officers that are like giants. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is this really necessary? Yeah, it was laughable. It's quite funny.
So they're not going to participate in any more training then, do you think, or do you think they've ready? Was there any of them that you would have given a job to as People's Protection Patrol, or were they all lousy?
They were pretty poor at mud wrestling. They couldn't let's say put handcuffs on very well.
Well, that's not very good then, is it?
They did struggle, yeah.
They won't be getting a job offer from the People's Protection Patrol anytime soon then.
They did. They was going to start drawing out their weapons as well. I see the one of them was twitching on his electric shotgun. But I wasn't being violent. I was laughing, and and they was getting all stressed and upset and that, and I'm laughing at them while they're trying to bend my arms up backwards and my legs and stuff. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Look at you. Oh, it's funny.
That's it. If they want, you want a bit of entertainment, books like this, they're a bit of universal law style pantomime coming, and it's worse than anything they could possibly imagine. We were talking about this the other day, where various things pop up, and it's like, look, they want creativity. They've definitely got it with you guys, that's for sure. It's really awesome. The pot of energy that we've got that's come over with this like-minded people in there. It's great. And so we're going to see a lot more of that over the weekend, and I can't wait. And then we're going to do some more over the coming weeks in different areas, so that people can get to benefit from this, like the truth bomb hitting your community and going amongst the people, and just relieving people of that indebted mind, really. So there's lots to look forward to. And then on the 28th of February, be able to go around and issue prosecution notices under the Ministry of Remedy to anybody who hasn't got Universal Law Community Trust number plate on. So first stop, police. Obviously, we can't be having those vessels operating within our community without the right identification, and they're going to be fined accordingly, and the collateral will be seized in just the same way that they've been doing to you. So that's going to be fun.
Is it possible, as we know that when you've got these number plates on, that we're going to have some interaction? Is it possible to have some document from the truck, that is like our driving license from the truck, something like that? Would that be worthwhile, do you think?
That's what you've got. It's the Minister and Van card.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see that. Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
That is that's your quiet title.
I understand. I was just thinking of the pleb who calls you up. He wants to see a document of insurance or something like that, or whatever. That warrant. Yes, we could use that like as a driving license type of thing. Just because obviously we don't want to spend too long with them. Minimum length of time, I would think, because we want to.
Depends. You're cutting your path through this, whatever illusion it is you built for yourself. So it depends how you minister yourself the first time round as to whether you need to keep doing it again and again to perfect the ministering of your own energy and matter. So it's down to, how you present yourself as Minister and Event.
That depends.
Hmm?
It depends a lot on your mood at the time, I suppose. If you want to play play games, yeah, if you're in a hurry or something, you really rent it as soon as possible, you know.
If
Yeah,
you're in
I
a
mean, yeah,
hurry, if you're in a hurry and your love of convenience overcomes the love of real convenience, which is to not have anybody standing in the street ever again, as you go along and exercise your rights freely, then you need to do it once. You need to do it once, good time, big time, or you're going to do little steps at a time. It's you'll either see these people again pop up, and there's always the, you know, such as the Emoven in training who pulled his driving license out and copped out, you know, found, okay, you can step out of this at any time, say, okay, I'm not ready for any more. Here's my Vatican debt slave, write me the ticket, and that's because that's the path of convenience. This is not in any way, shape or form convenient at the time that you're doing it. There's many things you think you could be doing, but you know, however long it is, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 6 weeks from now, the benefits that you reap from that seed that you sowed by you not accepting the definition of convenience as that anymore. If it's convenient, if I have to conveniently commit fraud upon myself and my love of convenience to be upheld in my community, I'm going to take a bit of inconvenience now instead of a lifetime of inconvenient slavery.
I fully agree with you. I'm just being practical in as much that sometimes you might say, for instance, be going to an appointment or whatever to see somebody, and then they decide, you know, to pull you up or something. You want to minimise that time with them, get on with your real business, don't you? You know what I mean?
Your real business is teaching them. That's it. That's what I was saying to the guy,
Oh,
you know, who came
thank
down.
you, sir. Thank you, taking. Yeah, I was taking. Yeah, no problem.
You're a teacher. You're teaching and ministering universal law, and if it, that's what I said to the police here. It's very convenient for me to put those number plates on there and pay you and pay the Queen and pay the tax and pay you all to leave me alone. But it's not lawful, and that's why
No.
you need to ask yourself, why would I bother? Why would I bother turning my number plates over? Because if it's not me that you're stopping today, you know, it's somebody else.
It'll help somebody tomorrow. I appreciate that. Yeah, just there's not enough of us at the moment. That's all. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Just takes one. It just takes one look at that yesterday, and it was a massive lesson learned across 3 police stations across the whole county. It was the same thing in Lancashire, just from one person. They're not getting the information because we're not going and putting ourselves out there exemplifying it. But when you do, you're like, whoa, all of my rights are reserved behind this document. I mean, I always said don't give them any document, but the warranty card seems to have helped a lot because you're removing that controversy of I've got nothing to identify myself with. Here you go, take that. That's what I identify as, and that's it.
Would it be worth approaching the superintendent of one of the police stations and educating him and say, look, you know, this is what I'm doing or whatever, and say this is the situation. Would you advise all your agents appropriately?
I wouldn't waste my time with the paedophiles. They're only in that position if they are completely corrupt.
I just meant, like you say, to educate them, because then the superintendent would, when he gets his blokes together in the morning, whenever they go out on patrol or whatever, they would be advised that these number plates are about, and they're you know, legitimate or whatever. That's it, you know.
I'm not going to advise putting any of these. They've all been put on notice inside the Securities Exchange Commission. They all know that the secured party creditors is a universal law. They all know that Companies House has upheld that. They all know that they're going to lose money, and so it's not so much you having to break the ice, as it were. They know that. All you have to do is keep that motion going, that this is energy and matter in movement in fee, and there's nothing that you can stop. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Okay, I understand.
So it's up to you, is what I'm saying. If you want to go and stick a flag in it and say, hi, I'm over here, and I'm going to be doing this over here, then for me, it's like, this system doesn't exist, but I need to tell it that I'm here still. It just simply doesn't exist. And I want to, you know, I'm not going to make their job easy for them, because you're denying them of their learning. You're also disclosing, and you're also making yourself it's like a red flag to a bull, perhaps. I don't know. It depends what kind of pervert it is that you're speaking to, you know. I haven't met a decent, at that level, I haven't met a decent being at that level.
There, though, isn't
The
there is a
people,
message.
the people in the other level, and you know, the guys that are there because they really do believe that they're upholding the law. They're at street level guys. They're the guys that I would rather go and because they're the ones that are holding it up. And when you see them with all of their indoctrination collapse behind their eyes, then you know that you've got another brick out of that wall. Whereas if you go straight in there, you know, I've done it before here with the chief of police, that information's not going to get down there. He's insulted because how dare you come in my office and speak to me like that. So I'm going to unleash the hounds of hell on you. And, you know, we did it that way. And we've done it in quite a lot of ways. And that's why people have said, well, you know, we've been going 5 years. Why haven't we heard from you by now? Because we needed proof. We needed to be able to turn around to you and say, there's 5 years worth of exercise practice and doing it this way. That's all we've got to share with you. We had to have something that was standing to show people to say that, and it ended up, it was Companies House Receipt, of all things, that brought most of you over the other bits. It was a fictional system acknowledging a fictional entity, securing another fictional entity that swung you all over, and the coronavirus, obviously. So, you know, we are at a vulnerable position in our minds at the moment anyway. And I think that if we go and apply ourselves to those that we've got more connection to, which are the people who are doing these jobs because they're compassionate, they're there for the right reason, that they feel that they're there to protect people's rights, then those are the people I want to speak to. The people on that level they're just, there's no honour, so don't expect any really in that level.
But there's quite a number of people. I find it strange when you talk to them. They just, as if their minds are blocked in some way. They just can't open anything up. They just can't. It's impossible. You know, they know it all from the position of total ignorance. It's amazing. You know. Yeah.
It's not convenient, is it? It's not fun. It's not convenient if you're going to come to me with some inconvenient truth, and I have to think about it. You're taking me out of my comfort zone of my convenient inconvenience, and I don't like that, and I'm going to defend that. And now I'm going to go and unleash my mates on you to help me keep my belief and validation of where I stand in this hierarchy system of fiction, really, which is so funny. You know, we're strutting around with the uniforms on, and they're like, oh, yes, you know, I've got 10 pips on my shoulder, and you know, poor thing, you're at that level of holding this complete bullshit system together, and without it really wouldn't exist. So you have to plug away at the people the people at the bottom are holding and supporting that mindset up. Without his people supporting his belief that he's indoctrinated them with at that level, then he wouldn't be there wearing his uniform, would he?
They've got a mindset that things only get worse, they can never get better. By listening to you, they might learn something, make their life better. That doesn't come fast through their brain cells. It only ever gets worse. It's inconvenient and a bloody nuisance. It's wrong.
Yeah, and it's actions, isn't it? It's actions speaking louder than words. If you go over there and you say, right, I'm going to convert my number plates over there, and I'm going to do this, we disclose and everything. Anyway, but if you're just peacefully minding your own private affairs, you can never be considered to be in business or commerce. You haven't got an axe to grind with them. We're not causing any controversy. And you know, so going and saying, nah, I'm over here and I'm doing this, I'm causing controversy.
Evidence controversy. I mean, when you
Sorry,
himself now for everybody.
Sorry, Gat. You kept breaking up there.
Sorry. Yeah, it's reminiscent, I think, of Germany. I think a lot of it is the way they're behaving. It's like, they're taking some leaves out of Goebbels' book, certainly, and they're trying to impose that sort of style of life on people, where they get knocked at the door at 2 o'clock in the morning and things like this.
it is ridiculous, but we're just not supporting it, that's all. Why do you take your
Oh,
number
no.
plates off? Because I don't support paedophiles. There you go.
Yeah.
It's my flag for paedophile supporter. Why don't you use legal fiction? Because I support terrorism through it. I'm reserving my rights to not support terrorists. I've got a right to do that. It's very simple.
Everybody, they've all lost their moral compass, I think.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. They maybe got a magnet attached to the side of it or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and what's the word? Compartmentalize people at that level, because I would just be wasting my time. So have you got any other questions? Anybody? Anne, got your hand up?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, all this. One lady I'm interested in joining is a concern that because she has to depend upon tax credits and couldn't feed herself while she was getting kindness credit, veg boxes and things sorted out, wonders how you make that transition. Now, I'm sure you've covered this before, but I wondered if you could just point me to the video, whatever it is that...
It's care of address. So you can be care of at any address to receive any benefits. You do not have to be the liability holder for the council tax or even the rent.
Lovely. So it's Emoven at care of.
No, she's going to be, so the legal fiction. Well, if you read what the surety is, the definition of surety, all accounts are supposed to be passed to the party standing surety. They've been notified that an assignment of consent has been created, and all accounts are to be passed to Universal Law Community Trust. But we don't accept it in slave tokens, do we? Otherwise, we'd be back in their system. So it's up to the recipient to convert that into kindness credits to keep their rights reserved. So when people say, I'm not going to have any money for veg boxes, that's not true, because your 5 hours are going to cover it. I'm not going to have any money to pay my rent. That's not true. You're not going to have any rent. I'm not going to have any money to pay my council tax. We haven't got a council tax liability. What is it that you actually need the money for? It's a very small amount, actually.
Well, no, in her case, she needs it to pay the rent on her business premises, because her liabilities are all covered by her partner, who wants nothing to do with this and insists upon paying all the bills. But the only liability she has is the monthly rent on the business premises, which is quite high, where she's trying to make enough money to credit the tax. Oh, God, you know what I mean?
Right, so they would discharge the liability of the rent by being in touch with the landlord and using, instead of £400 a month or whatever it is in rent, the total amount of all of his liabilities would be discharged by granting the right of use to them as a kindness credit outlet.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that's the job, is to go and talk to the landlord, offer to discharge all his liabilities on what now? On his home, or
whatever he's got. It depends, is if to do the financial logic. If it's a £500 a month rent and his liabilities are 10 grand a month, then what's his 5 hours look like? What are 5 hours of your time like? If you've got a business and your overheads are 10 grand a month, your 5 hours must already be worth quite a lot of slave tokens. So what is it that you're going to put in the pot? You're going to pull out that massive creditor of the debt slavery system by just discharging whatever it is that they thought that they needed to do that terrible job, which is why they've got 10 grand a month overheads, because they're persecuting people for 50.
But it isn't like that.
No, I don't. You know what I mean? That was quite extreme. I'm not. I mean, it's probably some old guy that's been inherited a house and she's turned it into a shop. I'm saying at the extremity side. Everybody's got overheads. So even if he hasn't got any overheads at, let's say, a loan or whatever, they've got their own council tax, and that's why they're having to charge rent.
Well, it isn't like that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry here, but what this is I'm not understanding. There's something I really don't understand here, and that is these people are are loaded. There's no problem there. They haven't got any need for money. But what I don't understand is the liability. When you say the liability, are we talking commerce? Because if it's the electricity and so on for a commercial premises, is that something that you can claim back as a right? That's what I don't understand. Can that landlord say, you know, claim back the electricity for all his outlets and units as a right, or isn't that business? You see, that's where I'm muddled.
Yeah, if he converts his business into kindness credits, which he will be doing if she pays him in kindness credits for his rent. She breaks the chain first, and the chain has that effect. So that passing of the paper, here's a bill of exchange. It now says that I paid you in kindness credits. What does that look like? Well, when you use it, it looks like all of your electricity discharged on all of your outlets. How much is that a month? Well, it's about $2,000 a month, okay, and the rent was $500, so you gained $1,500.
Right, so you don't pay to use it on business premises. That's all I'm asking, really. That
if he converts his business into kindness credits, yeah.
Not likely, seeing as he's landed gentry, and it would be converting a.
Well, many people say that, but you know, with people who thought that they were bringing massive investors into this, didn't think they'd be interested in, but you know, they've got a big tax bill at the end of the year, or they have to go and give £1 million to charity, or you know, there's always a liability somewhere along the line of having the money. So here you've got the people over here with the liability of not having any money, and then the people over there try to lose the money because they're creating a liability by having it. So you know, a trust structure, an offshore structure, investments. It does, when you're speaking to somebody at that level, that's broken up their own credit file and creating the investments and operating a trust fund for them in kindness credits. So it's at that level where you're talking about the lady using the shop, the money that she's got coming in isn't going on her other things, or water or gas or electricity. So at that point she can pay her rent much more easily, can't she, if she wants to just leave it at that level?
Never been doing that. She doesn't operate at a profit at all. That is the problem. Okay, well, thank you very much for all that. So basically it's talk to the landlord, say what is it you need to pay, ask if you can pay it in kindness credit, and explain how that can remove her rent from his.
It can, well, they can, by her exercising the right of use of that shop, instead of the value of the right of use being whatever the rent is, her being in that shop now with the trust standing beside her is worth whatever it is that he's got going out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for asking lovely questions.
And my other question is, I've been trying very hard to use the website to discover what it is that I can claim for on my claim form. I just would like some things that are on there, but I'm not sure if I'm looking in the right place, because one time I looked and there appeared to be order numbers, and another time I looked and there weren't any order numbers. I'm wondering, am I looking in the right place? Is it actually on the kindness credits page on the Universal Law Community Trust website? Is that the place where I should be looking? Or
when you go into kindness credits, when you click the kindness credits page, it takes you to a page inside, when you click the kindness credit tab, it takes you to the page inside kindness credits. When you click the add my 5 hours, it takes you into another website. It takes you into kindness credits website, and you can see all the products in there in the shop.
Okay, so I should click the add my 5 hours. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
That's the bit I didn't get. Thank you very much. Right, and that works, does it? That I can add them there, because I have tried, and it.
When you add your 5 hours there, look at the top of the web, look at the web address, and you'll see that you're inside another kindness credits website.
Right. Okay. But does the add my 5 hours button work currently? Because I thought I understood it wasn't working.
It does work.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. so long as I know.
Well, if you give it a go and tell me if it doesn't, and send me an email, and I'll see what they've done to it.
All right.
It was, well, let me say, it was working. And whether it's working right this second, I do not know.
It was only that I thought I tried and I couldn't add my 5 hours, so I thought
Oh,
perhaps
my love. I'll have a look at it. When did you try that?
that was about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, right, okay. I have had to fiddle about with it since then because we were having a few problems, but just give it a go. If it doesn't come through, send me an email tomorrow. Can you just turn your video off, love, please? Because we lose our sound. As lovely as it is to see you. Have you got a question?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, who are we talking to?
Whoever's got any questions.
Miss Cake here.
Hello.
Long time no speak.
It is.
So, did you still need some help with the website? Because I sent emails about logins and things and never got anything back.
You just came back right in the middle of this massive amount of people coming across, and it's just been mad. So we've kind of dealt with most of those people, although some are still waiting on the welcome packs. So we do need to go over a bit with that, and I was going to do a little bit at the weekend with you, hopefully, if that was all right.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah.
Yeah, we need something.
The website still needs some love, basically. So yeah.
She's done a lovely job of trying to introduce me. I'm definitely coming on board.
Hello, I'm sorry. We don't have our videos on because it kicks us off the sounds. That's the only reason why. It saves us having to do our hair as well. So nice to hear your voice, and so look forward to speaking to you maybe over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow.
Brilliant. Right. We've got a new person. I'm just about to drop off unless we've got any more questions.
I've got loads, but they're all spinning around in my head at the moment. So I'm going to read some more and watch some more videos, and then give you a shout or jump on Zoom.
That's great. Okay. I look forward to that.
Thank you.
Any more? For any more?
It's the thing at Bristol. Is it have you physically got to be there? Or is it a Zoom?
Sorry, couldn't hear you properly. We're breaking up.
It's the thing at Bristol. Or a Zoom.
Andrew, can't hear you. Do you want to put it in the chat box, or do you want to stick it on a?
I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone. I'll give you a ring tomorrow. I just wanted to know whether it was a physical thing in Bristol or a Zoom training.
It's for you, lot. It's physical.
All right, might be difficult for me then. Okay, I'll speak to you tomorrow if that's okay. Lisa.
Okay, we are going to do some further across the country anyway, so it's.
It's just that my son died, you see, and I'm having a bit of a wait on the weekend.
Okay, right. We'll speak about it on the phone then. And on that note, I'm going to go.
Can I just ask one quick question before you go, please?
What you can, yeah.
When is the next training? I'd like to sort of be involved if possible.
What do you mean, the next training?
So you said you have training courses on Mondays?
Well, we don't usually have training courses on Mondays, but there is something going on over the weekend, but we're not talking about it on here, and we ended up talking about it on here. And now you'll be informed once you've done your assignment. We'll let you know where they're going to be, and then we need people to host them, like somebody has.
I've done my assignment already.
Lovely. Okay. Well, when we get to the next one that's near you, you'll be invited to it.
Right. How do I find out about that when it's?
You'll be notified of it when it's organised, and once we know where you are and how many people in the area and all these things that we have to take into consideration, and hosting and all of that, and then we can organise another one.
Is there a point of contact I should be speaking to about that?
Just the email that you've already got.
I haven't got one.
But you've done an assignment of consent already, but you haven't got an email.
Well, the only point of contact I've got is Karen.
Right. Okay. Well, so we must have had an email of you.
Yes, and I've got the welcome pack. And that's,
okay. And
yeah.
when there's anything else to send you, we'll send it to you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else that anybody would like to disclose on Zoom that is on Proton Mail? No? Good. Ali, Nick?
No.